His name's Joey, and my name's Logan, and this is
the Kickin Ash podcast.
That seem good?
Not bad.
All right, we did it. We did it.
Are we keeping that one?
I guess we're keeping it.
We're going to keep it.
Okay.
First episode.
First episode, man.
Technically not the first episode.
We're calling it the first
We've
episode.
had about 3 episodes. This is the third, technically, right? Or is this the second?
Technically.
Okay, technically.
All right,
this is the one.
This is it. This one will be seen by people, hopefully.
Yeah, this is the one that we're going to send out to everybody live.
Yep.
Well, it won't be live.
Let's have a little toast.
A little toast.
It's a little inaugural first podcast toast.
To my buddy.
There we go.
These are completely the opposite size of cans, but
just think.
It'll work.
What you sipping on?
Cream soda, which is absolutely probably the best soda to just pair up with any cigar.
I agree. Probably for me, second best. I like a little Diet Coke, but with ginger and lime.
Yeah, well,
nothing too fancy today. We had a couple beers at dinner.
We did.
So we're kind of.
We did.
I don't need any more to drink tonight.
That's enough.
Yeah.
I'm good for now.
Well, what about what we're gonna be smoking tonight, dude? Tell them what you got.
Okay, I'll start off.
Start them off.
So this is the Herrera Esteli. This is the Brazilian Maduro. I've had every other offering by Herrera Esteli except for this. This is my very first try. Logan told me what he was going to be smoking, and I decided that I kind of wanted to go the Willie Herrera route. Met Willie. Willie's a great guy and makes some pretty fucking amazing cigars. So I decided why not kick off the podcast with a cigar that I've never had before. So I'm very excited to try this.
Yep. And I'm having the Norteño. And I have had this before, and I love it. And it's also Willie Herrera, Drew Estate. And it's like a nice, really like soft, like kind of a soft box press, would you call it?
Yeah, well, it's more of an oval box press.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they do something, there's something about it that I kind of like because it's like, it's box press, but it's also still kind of round. I mean, I've had some pretty square box press cigars in my time. And this one's just a little bit different. I'm kind of weird. I like a cigar to feel comfortable in my hands, you know?
Right.
So,
it should
like
feel...
some people say, a good mouth feel.
Yep.
So,
got the hiccups.
Got
some beers coming back.
Maybe. Could be.
But yeah, man.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and start working on
Let's do it.
Smoking this.
Make it happen. I can clear mine from the last one.
This is the stinky ashtray. This is Logan's. I actually have a stinky ashtray as well, but can't go wrong with these. We both absolutely love them. So if you ever are in the market for an ashtray, go stinky. You can find really good deals on them as well. What did I paid like $24 for mine? Yeah,
mine was 20 on Auctioneer.
I can't remember where I got mine
at. Coming for it, so.
Cannot remember where I got mine at, but I only paid about probably $24, something like that. Now I look like an idiot. Mine's out of beauty. Happens to the best of us.
This has almost like no joke, like a very like raisiny cold draw.
You know, I never do cold draws that much.
Cold draw is like one of my favorite parts of smoking a cigar. I almost get more flavor off a cold draw, I feel like, than I do the actual...
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but...
I'm not sure I'd admit to that, though.
Maybe. Maybe I'm just have a...
Maybe you should just not light it and just chew on it.
Yeah.
I've known some people. My granddad used to actually sit around and just chew on a whole cigar. Just chew up a cigar
until he was full?
A whole cigar, yeah.
Didn't even eat dinner. He just...
Yeah. It was always weird to me. So, like, you've probably seen Westerns and shit where they have, like, the cigarillo size. What do they call them? Cheroots?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, people would chew on those, like Clint Eastwood and shit, and that was, like, different, but my granddad would get, like, full-size... I think he used to smoke something called, like, Marsh Wheeling or something like that.
Yeah.
And he used to just have, like, a full-size cigar hanging out of his cheek, and he would just chew on it for hours at a time.
That's awesome. It's like just
Also slightly weird, you know?
more manly than I could ever be. I didn't, like, nobody in my family ever smoked, so I don't know where I got my... Well, my dad smoked a little bit, cigars, but I never really saw him do it much. Not till later in life, but...
Yeah, well...
But hey.
You know, I know your family, and makes sense. That was...
Awesome.
Yeah?
Super
Good.
awesome.
Good.
All right, so what are we talking about tonight? Tonight we're going to talk about a couple things on the Kickin Ash podcast. We're going to talk about why we smoke what we smoke and why we smoke it when we smoke it. Is that a good way to describe that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that's kind of the first topic of the podcast. Then we're going to talk about a little bit of cigar news, stuff that's going on in today's world of cigars. And then we're going to wrap it up with talking about manspreading.
Manspreading.
The
Just say that
infamous
slowly.
manspread.
Manspreading.
Yes.
That also translates into lounge etiquette. So it's not. We're not
We'll
just
tie it in
going
with
to
that.
talk about manspreading. It's going to be about lounge etiquette.
Yeah.
So pretty excited to get into that topic, actually.
Yeah, it was a topic given to us by a buddy of ours in our cigar group. And we loved it so much that we're like, that's a good one for the first podcast.
Yeah, it is. I'll give Joe his credit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe, for a good topic.
Joe, if you're watching, shout out you.
We actually wanted to get a lot of the people in the group to kind of give us some ideas of things that they want to hear us talk about.
Right.
Because if we didn't get any ideas, we would just sit here and probably just talk about a lot of inside jokes and dumb shit because we spend probably 10 hours a day plus with each other every single day.
Hanging out at work.
So we have a lot of great topics. We compiled all of these into a list, so we're going to be tackling a bunch of them throughout as we record this. I believe Mondays is going to be our recording night. That's kind of what works best for us.
Yep. Monday should be our regular podcast night. Hopefully have it posted by Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, and this guy's a wizard, so he gets shit edited pretty quick and whatnot. So probably within a few days, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. But first, let's just go ahead and get into the first topic. You're talking about, you know, how you choose what you're going to smoke, when you're going to smoke it, you know, that sort of thing. So I'll let you kind of start it off and just kind of figure out, you know, they were asking in the group, like, you open up your humidor XYZ time during the day, and you say, how do you pick what you're going to smoke in that particular time? Walk me through that.
So for me, there's a lot of cigars that I own that I already know what they taste like. So it just kind of depends on my mood. If I want to go with something that I know is not going to let me down, I have pretty much a dedicated selection that I can grab from and know that it's going to be a good experience. But I also know that if I want to kind of go out on a limb and try something new, that typically I'm not let down by a lot of things because a lot of the various cigars that I try are kind of still by the same brands that I'm very familiar with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I've never had one brand not give me at least one thing that I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of times where, I'll open my wine door. If I don't want to be disappointed, I can grab whatever. Typically, it's something Caldwell. Huge Caldwell whore. Love everything that Robert puts out. But, like tonight, first real episode of the podcast, I knew that you were doing something that Willie Herrera made. So I decided, why not kind of go a different route, but still keep it within Willie Herrera and try this out. Right. And it's something new. It's my first time with it. So far, it's very good. That's kind of how I decide things, I think also, I don't think anybody should be ashamed to go into a cigar shop or go online and purchase cigars for the band and the way they look. Yeah. That's what draws you to it. It's the same as almost anything else. When I first got into guitars, I looked for a cool guitar. Yeah. You know what I mean? So and I don't think there's anything wrong with that because cigars are a beautiful thing, not just to taste, but to look at, to see. And then honestly, dude, I love being able to look into my wine-ador and just see a pretty cigar sitting there.
Same here. I mean, I'm definitely attracted to branding. That's why, for me, one of the first brands I fell in love with was Drew Estate, just because I love the look of their cigars. I love the bands. The art resonates with me. And, honestly, like, that's what, when you're looking for something, that's what first, the first sense that almost, anyone uses when looking at something, or assessing something is what it looks like. And so for me, looks always play a factor in the cigars I'm choosing. Now for me, when I'm looking into my humidor and I'm picking something that I want to smoke, the biggest factor for me is time, usually.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
You and me can relate. We have families. We have stuff going on within our lives.
Yeah.
So I always look at, what can I smoke and finish? I don't want to waste.
Yeah.
I'm a big, I don't want to waste any second of that cigar, any, inch of that cigar. I don't want to waste it. So
right. That's
kind of the first thing I look at. And then I kind of, from there, if I have the opportunity, I, kind of like to match it, just with flavor profiles as far as, if I'm going to be drinking something with it, and then also what time of day it is. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
If it's, if I wake up in the morning, the typical adage is, oh, you smoke a Connecticut in the morning, something lighter, than maybe something heavy, full-bodied smoke, at nighttime.
Right, yeah, of course.
And I kind of stick to that. Just kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And, I think that there's... I know a few people who say that they will just go in, they'll open up their humidor, they won't look, they'll grab something and pull it out. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that too. I mean, I've done that a few times. Something else that I like to do that's kind of fun because it semi gets my wife involved. My wife doesn't hate cigars, but she doesn't love them either,
Right.
But every once in a while I'll pick out, 3-4 cigars that I really want to smoke and I'll lay them out. I'll be like, hey, pick out one. She picks out one, and I'll go get one of the others because I don't want to smoke what my wife picked out,
Yeah, I know, right? You always have someone else pick for you, and they're like, they didn't pick what I wanted.
Right. So then I'll just end up taking it. But it makes me kind of feel better because I know at least I got somebody else's opinion on it. But now I'm smoking what I really wanted to. So I like doing that every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I always smoke what I have the most of first. My thing is, if I have one of something, it takes me forever to smoke it because if it's something I like, I've got I have one T52 left, and I like that cigar a lot. I was like, I want to smoke that tonight.
It's no number 9 though.
And it's no number 9.
That's a debate. That's a debate that we should get into.
We have to have that debate sometime too, because there's quite a huge debate on which is better, the number 9.
And it's the number 9, but we'll debate it.
I feel like I would have to almost take the side of the 52 just so there was somebody here to take its side.
I mean, you take the side on the better cigar, which is the number 9, but that's fine if you want to do the T52. That's a whole nother.
That's episode. A whole nother debate, but
it's a whole nother episode.
But yeah, so I was looking at that, but I'll be like, man, I don't want to smoke that yet. You know what I mean? I'm almost like, but I was actually able to pull the trigger on the Norteño, which I only have one of too. But, typically I always go for something I have a couple of because I'm afraid to smoke that one in case there's a better time for it, which is...
I mean, I think I'm always the same way, too, because a lot of times I'll buy a cigar, and I'm like, I've really been dying to try this. I've never been the type of person where I'll grab, the most I'll grab of anything that I've never had is like a 5-pack. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because 5 cigars, if I end up smoking it and I don't like it, then I'll let it age a little bit more. And if I still don't like it, then I'll just give the rest away. Let somebody like you smoke them, or I'll send them in a bomb to somebody, or something like that. But
Joey's famous for just giving me all the cigars that he doesn't like. But I appreciate it.
There's a story
I
behind
appreciate it nonetheless.
There's a story
I
behind
appreciate it
Listen,
nonetheless.
they're good
but
cigars,
suddenly
but
I end up with
just because
50,
they're-
80 ring gauge turds in my humidor. And I'm like, where did I get all these? And I'm like, oh, yeah, Joey gave me a bunch of fucking
Hey, look,
cigars he doesn't like.
I've given you some really good things. That Caldwell
have.
Midnight Express Lancero, who gave
That's
you that?
true.
That
Yep.
was me. That's no 80 ring gauge.
Yeah, you're
Look,
right. It's like a 20 ring gauge.
just because-
it's either a 20 or an 80, nothing between.
No, that's like a 38. Just because I gave you a red Screaming Sun that was like a 60 ring gauge.
Yeah, and you gave me I have a Tatawahe that's like
Yeah, out of those.
that thing has to be a 70 at least, dude.
No.
Or 65 or something.
No, it's probably like a 55, maybe.
As you can
60.
tell, we're both not huge
It's from
fans.
the Saints and Center. So,
Yeah.
No, so look, it depends. I will try like 60 ring gauge. I'll try it,
Right.
but really, I don't really like going above like a 52, 54. It's about the biggest I like to go. I mean, my preferred range is like Corona Gorda, Robusto. That's where I like it.
Yeah.
Because that, to me, is where I get the most flavor from cigars. It's not anything, I mean, if I got the most flavor from like a 60 ring gauge cigar, it's probably exclusively what I would want to smoke.
Sure.
But unfortunately,
it's not comfortable for me to smoke
I mean,
a
I get
cigar
a lot
like
of
that.
flavors out of Lanceros, which is, I mean, technically,
Yeah.
more wrapper, so you get most of the flavor from the wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I don't. I get more flavor from like a Corona, which is why
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I like, probably my favorite is a Bellicoso. I don't know why, but that's probably my favorite. Vitola is like,
Yeah.
it's because it's basically like a Robusto with just that like little torpedo-ish
Yeah.
tip. And I really like the torpedo tip for like,
Oh, no way.
that's,
Dude, I hate a torpedo.
you don't like torpedo
I
tip?
hate.
See, I don't like like a
torpedo.
Bellicoso a lot of times it's not that full.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's a little bit more curved. So, like,
Yeah.
the Petite Bellicoso by my father, the Loduena,
Mm-hmm.
is probably my favorite size in the Loduena.
Okay.
Right, and I really like it.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more rounded. I just don't like. I mean, dude, I've had some cigars that you could probably fucking stab somebody with a
With the-
torpedo
with
on
the
it. It's
torpedo,
very,
yeah.
very pointy,
Yeah.
very sharp.
No, I like the T52 Bellicoso is like a nice soft curve. It's not really that pointed, or even like as far as I'll go is like the Cedrus from Southern Draw. That Bellicoso,
Yeah.
that's my ideal size.
Absolutely.
That way you still get like the size of Robusto, but like the mouthfeel of something like a little bit smaller. Pause. But
I was hoping you would say something because if you weren't, I was.
yeah, right. So yeah, I mean that kind of breaks it down, man. I mean, you guess really what it boils down to me is just like smoke what you want when you want it.
Yeah.
Like people.
I mean, if I had to answer that question, like with a shorter answer, it was I really don't think about it that hard.
Right.
I mean, I'll go into my winador, I'll look, something will catch my eye, I'll take it and I'll smoke it.
Well, and then some people do that whole like, it's Tat Tuesday, Fuente Friday. Like I'm cool with that. Like if you want to do that, that's cool. But
Yeah.
it's not my thing. Like I'm not trying to smoke the same cigar.
Caldwell Thursdays.
Thursdays. Yeah. No,
No, I mean that's
it's
that's not my thing.
Drew Estate Dadder Days.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucking terrible.
Is Dadder Days a thing? 'Cause if not, it should be.
Dadder Days, dude. We might
It's
have
where
to.
every dad goes out and smokes cigars and plays golf on Saturdays.
Dude, we just might have coined something. Y'all can't steal that. That's
No, it's trademarked now.
copyright. Hashtag Dadder Days.
Dadder Days.
Drew Estate
It's
Dadder
probably already
Days.
out there. I guarantee if you look right now,
Probably.
probably like 1 million people
It probably
probably
is.
follow that hashtag.
I'm not gonna look it up, and I'm just gonna pretend that we invented it because we've never seen it before. So technically, we did.
Yeah, it's our thing. Well, we're rich now. That's the end of this podcast.
All right. Well, so yeah, again, we talked about it. Smoke what you want when you want it. If you want to make a cool game out of it, if you want to go and open your.
Is this a good time to kind of poke fun of all the people in various groups that are always like, smoke them if you got them, brother?
Smoke them if you got them, brother. Let me tell you something, brother. You better smoke them if you got them. Because if you don't smoke them and you got them, you ain't got them.
Yeah, right.
Motherfucker, yeah,
Oh,
we
dude.
talk about that a lot. These people in these
Cigar
groups.
group pet peeves needs to be another episode.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
Because I
topic.
could talk for days about
But
that.
people who just, no matter what, people just post up a cigar with looks like it just went through the freaking meat grinder.
Yeah.
And they'll be like,
True story. We just seen one.
My humidity's running at like 48%.
Yeah.
And I got these black holes in my cigars because it's 98 degrees where I'm at, and I don't have AC. Should I smoke this? And there's always some dickhead whose
name is like Gerald or some shit.
Yeah, or freaking Mark.
Yeah.
And he's just like
Mark.
He's just like, smoke him if you got him, brother. Or his name's like fucking Randy.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. I think what's worse than like the beetle holes and the humidity shit is when somebody, like, you know what state they live in. Like, they live in fucking Nevada.
Yeah.
And it's like 95 degrees. They just got home from vacation. A box of cigars has been sitting in their mailbox for a full 7 days. And they'll take them out, and somebody's like, smoke them rot, brother. Which rot stands for right off the truck, ROTT.
Yeah, had to smoke this one rot.
Which I'm okay with in certain settings, you know. But, you know, I mean, not really that fresh off the truck.
Look, someone's going to be listening to this right now, and they're going to see me have ashed without letting it fall. And they're going to be like, these dudes don't take it serious. You know, look, we're in our garage.
You ashed it?
Well,
you fucking pussy. What is this? Is that a Marlboro?
Well, see, considering we're in my garage, in our garage studio, I don't really like ash just falling on the floor.
I would never.
I know you wouldn't.
Speaking of the garage, we should take a quick second and talk about this nice little unit.
Oh, yeah.
The Rabbit Air.
This podcast is not sponsored and not brought to you by Rabbit Air.
Rabbit Air, wink, wink.
Wink, wink. If you're out there, Rabbit Air.
We have at least 12 followers.
Yes. Send us more Rabbit Airs. Yeah. So I can have like 4 in here.
Yeah, right.
And my wife can never complain about the fact that it smells like cigar.
You know, but I will honestly say, because I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that have talked about the Rabbit Air, and we plan to already do a review of it at some point or another, but I will say that he smoked in here last night, and I walked in, and it did not smell like cigars at all.
Performs great.
Yeah, it performs absolutely great. The real test is going to be today with both of us sitting in here smoking cigars.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's not cloudy in here. It's not smoky.
That's the big thing. It's like, it's amazing. It's not lingering. You can almost kind of see our smoke drifting back to it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, but
yeah, I like it.
It works pretty great. You know, I smoked a cigar in here last night, like you said, watching football, and there's just nothing better than being able to relax in AC and smoke a cigar and just watch football and listen to Frank Sinatra.
I agree wholeheartedly.
It was
with
pretty awesome night for me. So hopefully more cigars to come to smoking this.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Rabbit Air, for allowing me to pay you quite a few $100s to purchase that.
Thanks, Rabbit Air, for the purchase.
We will have some sponsors soon. So speaking of another sponsor we don't have, Famous Smoke Shop.
Let's talk about it.
Talk about some cigar news.
So everybody's already probably semi-caught up on this. I haven't actually looked into the story in quite a few days, but it kind of came out of the news, I'd say probably just over a week ago, that Thomas Zarzecki, which most people probably know him as Tommy Zman, who's like the big media personnel for Famous Smoke Shop, was fired by Famous Cigars. It was allegedly.
Make sure we use our correct.
And arrested, allegedly, for... I mean, technically, it's not listed as to why he was allegedly fired.
Let me give you the breakdown.
Yeah.
This is from...
Because you have the article in front of you.
I have the article right here. This is from halfwheel.com. The article is titled, Tommy Z-Man fired from Famous Smoke Shop, arrested for making terroristic threats. Cigar personality Thomas Zarzecki Jr., better known as Tommy Z-Man, was arrested on charges of making terroristic threats and harassment after he was fired from Famous Smoke Shop. According to Lee Valley Live, Zarzecki was fired on Wednesday. On Friday, he allegedly texted another famous employee stating that he would return to the retailer and shoot everyone at the retailer with an AK-47. He was arrested and then released on $20,000 bond. According to the report, Zarzecki confirmed he sent the message. So, obviously, this is some pretty heavy allegations.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say.
You had the opportunity to reach out to Tommy because you have a connection with him.
I do.
What talk us through that? What did Tommy say?
So obviously this was being discussed in a lot of various groups. I made a comment in one of the groups. I won't mention the group. I won't mention the comment. I try to stray away from drama, so I'm not going to get mixed up into it. But I've known Tommy for several years. He and I have actually, conversed quite a good bit over our time on Facebook as Facebook friends, and we've talked. I've never met him. I've never really hung out with him, but we've conversed, and I've got to kind of get to know Tommy quite a good amount over the last few years. He can't really comment on anything right now legally because it's still an investigation. There's still a lot to be hashed out. But Tommy is pretty strongly denying the claims, basically stating that this whole story has been fabricated. Of course, nothing's really come out. Again, no articles, at least none that I've read, have stated why he was fired in the first place. So we don't really know. I'm not taking sides here at all, but I personally, until I know the full story and the full truth, it's just kind of the way I was raised. I can't be on one side or the other here.
Sure.
I would say, you look at the guy and he doesn't look like the type of person that would, go in guns blazing, you know what I mean? But, some crazy shit has happened before.
Sure.
So I'm not going to say that it hasn't happened. But right now we don't know.
Look, you'd hate to think that somebody, who's obviously been in this industry for quite a while,
right,
would do something like this to the people he previously worked for, especially if he's, never had anything like this go on in the past, which we don't know, but it doesn't sound like it. So it's one of those things where it's unfortunate in our day and age that you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But with the current climate and how social media has consumed our lives and that sort of thing, you come to realize that now it's more of a, you're guilty until proven innocent,
right,
which is a shame. So, you'll probably see, I don't know if you'll see any more about this on the groups or, some of your cigar, information and news and that sort of thing. But it is just something to note that you should always find out all the information you can.
Yeah.
Hear both sides of the story. Obviously, I don't know Mr. Zarzecki personally, but I hope that he's able to come out and tell his side of the story.
I think everybody at least owes him that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because a lot of times things like this go on in our day and age, and then come to find out, a couple weeks later, a couple months later, the real story comes out and it was the exact opposite. But that story doesn't make any news because nobody wants to hear about how the news was wrong. They all want to hear about the next big headline, attention grabbing, post and stuff like that. So,
which brings me to question: what would it take for you to get fired and to come home and stew for like a day or two and think, kill everybody at work? It would take a lot. Look, here's the thing that it's kind of hard for me to believe. This is a weird story because I feel like with Tommy's experience in the industry, that if he was fired for famous for something not super terrible, if he was stealing or embezzling or something like that, whatever. But, whatever the case may be, that any other large company would probably love to pick up Tommy because, he's done some great work for Famous in in his time there. But, it also makes me think that, who would also want to fabricate such a story? So it's super interesting to see how this unfolds in the end.
And like I said, it's unfortunate that we may not hear about the outcome. I hope we do. I hope we get some more.
I think Tommy will end up telling me because he, at some point or another, said that he would like to be on the podcast, some form or another. Maybe not here personally live, but somehow we could remote him in, and he would like to talk about it. But obviously, he has a couple hurdles to jump
Sure.
first, so to speak. So
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. I think if we could get on here and have him talk about it and tell his side of the story, like I said, that's what
Well,
we like to hear.
fuck that. This fucking cigar is absolutely phenomenal.
Is it?
I picked this up from my good friend Brett Fry at Tobaccology. He has 2 shops, one in Manassas, Virginia, one in Haymarket, Virginia.
Yes.
And I picked this up from his shop. I mean, if you're ever in Virginia, even if you're not ever just passing through or visiting Virginia, it's worth paying his shop a visit. Customer service is top notch. Carries some of the most, some of the newest releases of cigars. He carries a lot of amazing accessories, and just a cool fucking guy to sit down and just talk with. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with Brett a few times. So if you ever get a chance, and Brett actually, I believe, can work out some deal where he'll ship to you if you want to kind of check out some of the stuff that he has.
Yeah.
Pay him a visit. Reach out to him.
Yeah, if anybody watching is
good
looking to, maybe they're looking to get into cigars or something like that, reach out to us and we can get you in touch with him or we can reach out to him for you or whatever.
Yeah.
And we can, if you're looking for some stuff to smoke or if you're already into it and you're just looking to pick up some sticks that you haven't been able to find and maybe he has them.
Support local, support small shops.
Yeah. Because he's been good to me. He just sent me a box of Fratellos that, for any of the people in our group know that I've been...
Which we have hanging on the wall behind us.
Yeah.
Because it's just, look at that.
Beautiful
we
box.
live in Virginia,
Yeah.
obviously.
So immediately when I saw the box, I was like, whoa, I got to have one of those because it's got, Virginia's flag on it, which is super awesome. And then when I smoked it, I instantly fell in love with that cigar. Joey gives me crap because he thinks I just smoke everything and love it and it's my new favorite. But the truth of the fact is, before that, Liga Privada number 9 was my number 1 cigar. And
Which, again, the number 9 is better than the 52.
We know. just for all you out there.
Cheeky plug.
I don't even get
Joey
paid to
remind
say
that, but I will say it every time I get the chance.
I know you will. But yeah, so immediately after smoking that Fratello, I was just like, holy cow, this is, by far, the best cigar I've ever smoked.
Yeah.
It's just had everything that I liked about it. And it's actually not as full as the Liga number 9 is. But it's just like the perfect, very medium, almost a full body, and, awesome draw. So long story short, I reached out to Brett at Tobaccology and was like, hey, man, can I get a box of those? Because I couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
In 2 days, I had them on my doorstep.
Well,
And, he sent me a hat.
I will know soon enough because you gave me one.
Yes.
And I will gladly smoke it. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll buy a box. Maybe not because I don't have room anymore. I always say that, but then I always end up buying more cigars.
Right, and finding room.
And I figure out how to get room.
Yep.
Typically, it's just buying another humidor.
Well, speaking of cigars we'll be purchasing from Tobaccology, how about...
This is probably what I'm most excited to talk about right here.
The La Coalicion.
And hold on. Can we just say it one more time? It's fun.
Yes.
La
Coalicion.
It's
a super cool name.
Yeah, it is. It is the collaboration, the first collaboration that at least I believe.
Is it?
I'm almost 100% sure
Of
that
Crown
Heads and Drew Estate has never collaborated before. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure that this is the first collaboration between the two. But I love Drew Estate cigars. I'm not what you would call a Drew Estate whore. But I am kind of a Crown Heads whore. I own a lot of Crown Heads stuff. Mm-hmm. The La Imperiosa is probably my favorite Crown Heads cigar, and I absolutely love them. And to see them come together, it's it's going to be a great fucking cigar.
Yeah, I'm very excited because these are two of, if not my two favorite brands. When I say my two favorite brands, both of them have the widest selection of cigars that I like to smoke right now.
Yeah.
They both have multiple lines that I like to smoke. The Las Calaveras, the Headley Grange.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Imperiosa, and then of course there's I am a self-admitted Drew Estate whore, so there's you name it, I like to smoke it from Drew Estate typically, except unless it's like acid, which you can check out our video on YouTube if you want to know.
Yeah, we won't talk
what
about
we
that
think
on
of
the
that,
next podcast.
But I'll read here just a little bit about Crown Heads and Drew Estate's La Coalicion. We are very excited about this one. We picked this one for the reason being that it is, like we said, two of our favorite blenders or brands, essentially.
Well, and it's highly anticipated. I mean, a lot of people are very excited for this.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, it comes in a Corona Gorda, which is a 5x46, a Gordito, which is a 5.5x50, what they call a Siglo. I don't think I've heard of that before. Have you come across that?
Yeah.
52x6.
Yep.
Man, I tell you what, that Coke is making me burp. I apologize, guys. And the Sublime, which is 6.5x54.
Yeah. So that's
out of that. What do you? I mean, what do you think?
Corona Gorda.
Corona Gorda.
Corona.
Yeah.
And like
I think
Robusto,
the Gordito sounds like right up 50 by 5.5 for me. Would be.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of close to.
Pretty close.
A Robusto.
Mm-hmm.
But Corona Gorda. I mean, and a lot of these cigars will come out. I can almost probably guarantee you that small batch will get a sampler made with each size of these cigars so that you can try each Vitola.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, whether it's an online retailer or your local, tobacco shop, wherever they carry it, I always strongly urge you to try every Vitola that you can, because you can get a lot of varying flavors and different profiles based off of the Vitola.
Sure.
If I smoke the Robusto, Brazilian, Maduro, Herrera, Esteli, it'd probably taste slightly different than what I am smoking right now. Mm-hmm. But for me, when I see this, I'm probably immediately going to go right for the Corona Gorda, just kind of my style.
Right, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah. But I can almost guarantee you that at least small batch, because they're pretty famous for putting together samplers of varying Vitolas and samplers so you can try out, which I like. But I personally already know what I want, which is going to be the Corona Gorda, and I'm going to definitely grab it, and we'll definitely talk about it on the podcast one day.
Yeah. I mean, it's so cool when you see two of your favorite brands come together and make a cigar together.
Yeah,
it just gets me excited.
More collaborations now.
Yeah.
And it makes me that much more excited for a cigar to come out when I know that all these, I mean, let's face it, dude, so many people in the industry now, they're fucking geniuses.
Yeah.
John Huber of Crown Heads, you have Drew Estate, Herrera, Willie Herrera, you have
AJ.
Yeah, AJ Fernandez, Robert Caldwell, Tony Bellato. You have a lot of these people that come together and they collaborate. Some of my favorite collaborations.
Okay, folks, we are back. You'll see that there was a little bit of a technical difficulty, and that technical difficulty was that my wife walked in, which isn't bad. She doesn't care that we're doing this or anything. She just had no idea we were in here recording a podcast, and I had no idea she was going to be home this early. She was supposed to work for another couple hours and got off early. The funniest part about that is we literally made a joke right before we started this that would happen. And
sure
lo and
enough.
Behold, the big man upstairs has to make our life some sort of ironic joke.
He hates us.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. So anyway, we were discussing collaborations.
Yes.
And we will continue to discuss for a moment some collaborations, and then we'll move on to the next topic. But you were talking about your point of the different brands that are out there that collaborate.
Correct.
And I'll let you pick back up where you left off.
Yeah, so anyways, I think that if a brand comes out with a new cigar, I'm already excited. But if two very well-known brands that I really, really like come together, and collaborate, I'm that much more excited for that cigar because I'm always interested to see what two totally different brands can do when they come together, you know. And I was about to say that some of my favorite, you know, collaborations have been, of course, Caldwell, but Robert Caldwell and Matt Booth with Room 101 cigars. You know, they've come together and they've made some of my favorite Caldwell cigars. It's always that much more exciting for me when two people come together and form a new line.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool that you know, two brands who technically compete with each other, you know, can come together and make a product that people can enjoy.
But that's what's cool about the industry too. Everybody knows, you know, I mean, there's so much passion behind it. That's why so many people come together, because they know, hey, we're some of the best players in the game. We can put our heads together and create some of the most amazing cigars that our lines have to offer. And, you know, so many of these brands have done it time and time and time again, and they continue to keep doing it. And I love it.
Yeah. It's awesome. Definitely excited to smoke that cigar, the La Coalicion.
God, it's just so goddamn fun to say, dude.
Yeah, very cool name.
Coalicion.
We'll put the link up with it.
Yeah, that'll be.
You
that'll
can
be
see
in
the
there.
band art that they came out with.
Which is also very cool.
Very
I think
cool.
they already have swag and stuff up on the Crown Heads website.
Do they?
I'm pretty sure.
So yeah, guys, check that out. I'll put the article up. And the last thing we're really going to touch on is just what's going on, you know, in the tobacco industry.
Oh, my fault. I thought we were going to go ahead and get into the manspreading.
Oh no, manspreading's coming.
Well, you said the last thing we're going to touch on. You mean now?
I meant from the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, your
I'm
wife
just
threw
kidding.
me off.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, the missus has thrown us both off.
Won't happen again. She's out of the house. She's never allowed back.
But she was like, oh, I couldn't even smell the cigar smoke from inside. So again,
Another honest review for the Rabbit Air.
Rabbit Air, not
Kind of looks
sponsored.
like a huge PlayStation. You know,
It kind of does.
Like the new console just came out.
It's got like that mood light, like adjusts based on the lighting in the room.
Yeah, I really like
And you can mount it on the wall too, which I think, you know, if we continue with this setup, I might end up doing. Be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But you know, so anyway,
I like it.
so one thing that I definitely want to focus on throughout the you know, time that we're doing this podcast is definitely keeping up to date with you know, sort of the legislation and stuff surrounding tobacco. Just because I think it's important. It's always kind of that lingering, you know, cloud over our hobby's head.
Yeah.
That they could just one day be like, you know what? We don't want anybody to smoke cigars anymore because stupid reason that really is about money, but we'll claim it's about something else.
Enemies of pleasure.
Enemies of pleasure, as our favorite cigar Dave would say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, recently another article we saw is that, you know, Maryland proposed a flavored tobacco ban. So kind of an unrelated subject, related subject, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No,
is that, you know, right now they're trying to ban flavored e-cigs, which is in its own right completely stupid, I think, for, you know, whole different reasons. This is, we're not going to get into e-cigarettes on this show, but you know, if you look up and check the facts if you want, you can see that really it's probably more about big tobacco losing out on money than it is about kids vaping, you know? Because way more people still smoke cigarettes, way more people die from cigarettes. You know, it's just, it's always something to keep an eye out for, because a lot of times, for some reason in the past, they've lumped in cigars with these, but in this case, they're not. So far, which is good.
Right.
We like to see that cigars aren't getting lumped in to this, you know, flavored tobacco ban or tobacco ban of some sort, and which is right, because, you know, okay, I'm sure, you know, kids hit their jewel and stuff, but I really don't know a kid 16 who's going out and buying a Norteño at his local tobacco shop and smoking it. You know, I mean, that's just not.
No. And I mean,
you
still,
know.
it comes down to the very cliche saying that if somebody wants something, they're going to get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can apply that to a lot of things.
Yeah, you can, and you know, it is applied to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you have no idea the amount of kids that, you know, my wife works in the school system. The amount of kids that have access to marijuana now is astonishing. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't able to start getting marijuana easily
Till ever because we don't smoke marijuana.
That's right. But I mean, the amount of kids now, like, dude, I remember back when I was, you know, 15, 16 years old, I was giving my older brothers $10 so they could go pick me up at Boone's Farm. And
right.
a fucking,
a Mad Dog,
you know,
2020
yeah,
or something.
Yeah, or something like that. And then I would be like, hey, you know, let me have one of your cigarettes or something like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, half the time then, it was a stretch.
Right.
You know, but the fact is that if you want it, you can get it, and there's always ways to get it.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the thing. It's just like with anything, you know, if I want to, you know, get a gun, I can find a way to get a gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you ban something, it's just it's really the wrong way to do things. You know, and again, I'm really glad that cigars aren't getting lumped in with this as of now. Let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
You know, but I just think it's the wrong approach to say, you know, these things are harming people. I mean, look, I'm of the mindset that the reason I probably don't do as many things as other people is because I did have a little bit of access to them when I was younger, and I experimented and was like, hey, this isn't that great, or oh, I've done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the people that I know who do these things are the kids who couldn't, you know, whose parents sheltered them entirely, and you know, their whole entire life they weren't allowed to even, you know, fart without getting reprimanded. And then suddenly they get to be 18, 21, out on their own in college, and they just go buck wild. You know what I mean? You smoking a little cigarette. Exactly. You smoking
I was that kid.
Were you?
No. No, I was.
Well, I was going to say, you smoking a little cigarette and drinking a little, you know, Boone's Farm probably just told you that, oh, that's, you know what? Now, the next time I go out to do that, I've done that before. I don't really need to, you know, live that life.
Yeah, of course.
So, to me, you know, if you're out there listening, people of the government, quit banning shit. You know, this is the great country of America, and we like our cigars, and we like our half-naked women, and we like our
and to be
big
fair,
guns.
we like our marijuana. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, we do, but but that's beside the point.
It's not about marijuana.
The point is that I don't know what the point is. There's a point to this. There's some moral high ground I'd like to take, but just too lazy to take it. So
it is hard to
just don't ban our stuff, because we like smoking cigars, and we like smoking cigars with you guys and talking about it.
Yeah,
that sort of shit. So
yeah. I mean, I just it's hard for me to wrap my head around the world that we live in, where somebody gets shot, they want to ban guns. Somebody smokes something, they want to ban it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I just don't really know.
But they don't want to ban cigarettes. 480,000 people die a year from cigarettes, and nobody's banning that because guess what? You know, every politician probably owns stock in every major cigarette company.
Yeah.
I
mean, don't you think we should invest our time into finally figuring out how to battle and beat cancer? Oh, that's right. That's right. It's $1 billion industry. Why would we?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for that. It all
literally comes down to what the government wants.
And what makes them money.
Yeah.
And it's kind of unfortunate. But it's the world we live in, and hopefully you'd like to think that we could vote our way out of those, you know, ways, and those people wouldn't get reelected, but somehow they do. But
yep.
That's a political discussion for another podcast.
Yeah.
Another podcast that's not the Kickin Ash podcast.
Yeah. They will have to pry a cigar out of my cold, dead hands before I stop smoking cigars.
Absolutely. Cheers to that.
Unless shops all close down and they stop carrying them, you know. But
I'll just go
we'll
out.
Still get them.
I'll plant it in my garden.
I'll just roll my own, man.
We'll just ferment it right here in my garage.
They might look ugly, but fuck it. We'll roll them and we'll smoke them. And we'll continue doing the
Just
podcast.
look like backwoods, only shittier.
Hey, backwoods are good.
Hey.
Honeyberry?
Yeah.
We won't talk about that. I like honeyberry backwoods.
So,
shame.
speaking of banning,
yeah, here we go. This is the topic I've been waiting for.
something
all
that
night.
people are also trying to ban that is completely obnoxious
Yeah.
is manspreading.
Manspreading. Why don't you
Manspreading.
explain what manspreading is?
I'm going to try and explain what manspreading is. I didn't even know that manspreading was a thing until, I don't know, maybe a year ago when I saw some stupid viral video on it or something.
Yeah.
And apparently, it may have not been a thing for much longer than that, but it's basically men sit down on trains or buses or crowded areas of some sort, and they sit with their legs spread. Let me read you the Wikipedia, because this is what it's reached now. It's reached a level of it has its own Wikipedia page.
Yeah. Well, it's
and
deserving of it.
And it has its own Merriam-Webster dictionary definition.
All right. Now, that one's
Which
a
is
little surprising to me.
that's a little perturbing. But so let's go. We'll start with the Merriam-Webster definition of manspreading. The act or practice by a man of sitting with the legs spread wide apart, as in a public seating area, in a way that intrudes on the space of others.
Now, listen, I like how they say the practice of it.
The practice. Like we sit down and we're like, watch this.
Yeah.
Watch me intrude on others with my spreading. Okay, first of all, I don't know if you know this or not. I would assume that most of you watching this will. But men have a certain something that sits directly in the middle of that spread that if you close your legs together makes it almost impossible to sit comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, for sure.
So, and just the fact that people get upset and can't understand that there is, spaghetti and meatball down there that just ain't dealing with my big old thunder thighs squeezing them together.
Yeah. I've seen people your size actually cross their legs, and there's no way that can be comfortable.
No, I almost can't even do it.
No.
And it's just not something that's for me. But the fact that this is a product of people being having too much time on their hands, feeling too comfortable in life,
Enemies
not
of
having
pleasure.
enemies of
That's
pleasure.
exactly what it is.
I hate you for saying that. Shout out to Cigar Dave and his enemies of pleasure.
Hey, he's entertaining.
We love that. We love that. And so, dude, I can't. I mean, let's be honest. This is definitely a feminist brought on issue that really isn't an issue. That
No,
it's kind of like
it's not an issue.
Yeah, it's people who again don't have anything better to do. They've gotten too comfortable in their lives. They don't have to go out and do anything hard or difficult.
I mean, look, my dad. How much do you weigh? I mean, it's all right. It's all right. People can take a guess.
I'm a big dude. Let's call it that.
All right. My dad is.
I'm about probably your dad's size. I've seen him before.
Yeah. So
he might be a little.
My dad weighs probably about like 230, 240. But he's even a little bit shorter than me. I'm about 5'8".
Yeah.
And he's, a bigger guy. But my dad, growing up, I would never not see my dad manspreading. If I had to guess, my dad invented the term manspreading.
Nah, dude. Nah. Your
Dude,
dad's
my
too
dad-
manly to invent
listen.
the term. He might have invented the act, but I don't think he invented the
Well,
term.
yeah, maybe.
He just
but
called it
I'm
sitting
talking-
down with his balls out, dude.
My dad used to
Spreading
take,
his balls.
Yeah.
You ever have that feeling where you're just like you've been sitting kind of close together all day, and then you spread out, and
It's
like
the equivalent
skin,
of a woman taking her bra off at the end of the
skin
day.
peels off your
Yeah.
leg,
Yeah,
just, and you're
dude.
like, holy crap!
Yeah, it's like
What a
taking one of
feeling.
those. Remember those clear sticky hands that as kids we used to have that were on like, they
Oh,
were, like
yeah, you,
long
like,
and they were
throw
like
it and stick
gummy.
it to the wall.
Yeah, that's how it feels to me.
Yeah.
you know. But like my wife and so many women come home and they take their bra off and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's the most amazing feeling ever. I want to take my pants off and I want to sit down, spread my legs, let my balls breathe, let my marbles just roll on the floor a little bit, because that's what feels good to me.
Sure.
But my dad used to sit around with his legs open, take a blanket, tuck it up under his gut,
Yeah.
just so we couldn't see his junk. So he had good etiquette about
Yeah,
it.
sure. But here's what I'm saying: is that what the problem is that somebody out there is saying that men can't sit like this because it's somehow infringing on their right to have more space or something to that degree. I can't really wrap my head around why you
Yeah,
would see
no.
somebody sitting. I can only like I said, I can only get so close
Yeah, that
between.
doesn't look
dude.
right.
No.
No.
And so this would never be a problem in any other era in the world. But because we live in the society we live in today, this has to be a problem. They have this. Look, they had on the Wikipedia page, they have transit authority responses. The
Well, no
Metropolitan Transport Authority in New York and Sound Transit of Seattle instituted poster campaigns encouraging respectful posture when other passengers have to stand.
I'm glad that's what we're spending our money on.
Dude, what? I mean, okay. So you got signs that basically say, encourage respectful posture. But look, they got this picture, and I can't show you this, guys, but they got this picture of this woman. What do they call this? She-bagging?
Is that another term?
She-bagging, which is, I guess that's like taking up more space with your purse. Like, look, she's taking up a whole... So, look, she's taking up more than I'm going to take up with my nutsack just kind of comfortably
Yeah.
rested on the seat.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. Dude, and also you see women that do that thing where they like lift their leg up and then they sit on their leg,
Right.
and it's like
And
then
that's-
your fucking foot's
right.
over like my side of the cushion. But I
Yeah.
don't bitch about that.
No,
It's
we're not
just
sitting there
because
like
my
you can't do
nutsack
that.
is out. That's the
It's not even out. It's just comfortably in my pants.
Oh, well, mine's usually
You're just
out.
drooping your ears. They're like, "Sir, put your balls away." Yeah. So, well, apparently, to women now, this is manspreading is a social signal. Sitting
okay.
more expansively may signal dominance and sexual attractiveness. That's what your dad was doing, dude. He was just trying to fucking look hot for your mom, and he was just trying to, just assert his male dominance.
So
I can be honest with you, man.
On to the end of this podcast because that's just enough for me for one night.
I can't tell you that I've ever sat there and thought, you know what, I'm going to assert my sexual attractiveness and signal my dominance by the way I spread my legs.
Dude, no way. Because
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say that my package probably isn't that great looking.
I mean, nothing,
I'm
dude,
not a
it's-
porn star.
Right.
I'm gonna do other things like, hey, you want to go shopping? Here's my debit card.
Yeah, right. And I whip out
You
the
know?
old credit card. That's how I
Yeah,
go.
something like that. But I mean, I'm kind of built like an ice cream cone. I'm not gonna go out and spread
Yeah.
to try to get some ass. Nor have I ever done that.
No, dude. I think maybe now I'm going to try because apparently, it's a clear-cut signal. And maybe that's, well, I guess I can't now because I'm married, but
Well,
I'll ask my wife. Maybe I'll just spread around the house.
yeah.
And just
see
see if-
where it gets you.
I'll just be spread and I'll just
But you got to wear those gym shorts that like the leg comes up a little bit so you can
Yeah.
it's kind of like peeking out.
just have a little tumor hanging out there.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
that's what you need to do.
So Joe, we talked about it. We talked about manspreading.
But that was just something fun we wanted to
Yeah.
talk about. That's going to carry us into. Is this our last topic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it. I mean, basically, your lounge etiquette.
Lounge etiquette.
And so if you go into a lounge and you see a guy manspreading,
just let him go.
Yeah, dude.
That means he just wants you.
But is that proper etiquette?
His dominance.
I mean, I guess here's the thing. It depends on the lounge layout. Like, I'm not going to go into a lounge and, I'm like, maybe I pick out a cigar or maybe I bring my cigar with me or whatever. I'm not going to go sit down between two guys and just spread out No. That's just not proper etiquette. But
no, and I'm not going to do that either, especially in a room with a bunch of men. Manspreading at the lounge is a little different, than me manspreading at my house.
I think every guy, that's where you go to safely manspread is the lounge. I mean, I'm not going to hate it. I'm not going to do it purposefully, but
no.
If I catch a dude manspreading in there, like, hey, that's...
Yeah, I'm not going to ever, be like, hey, Earl, please close your legs.
Yeah.
Never
You're manspreading all over this place. Everyone's offended.
Yeah.
But what are some of your like pet peeves on the etiquette?
Let me tell you my biggest pet peeve right now. All right?
Go ahead.
When I walk into a shop, and this is what you see, everybody in there.
Everybody breaks their neck.
Turns and look at you. And I'm talking, this happens to me in my local shop where people know me by name. I walk in there, and they always just turn around and they stare at me like they've never seen me before.
It's so annoying.
And they do it with everybody.
Oh, yeah. For me, a lot of the guys don't know me, but it just you just feel this look of like, who is this person?
Yeah.
And it just drives me crazy. It's why, 9 times out of 10, I don't like hanging out in a shop unless I'm really comfortable there, unless I really know a lot of the people there.
Right.
Because, you just get this feeling, this like, you're an outsider, you're not part of the clique. You're not part of the 10 people who hang out here Monday through Friday. And so we can't, we have to...
You work, you can't...
Yeah, exactly.
But aside from that, I think that another one of my pet peeves, and this is something that's happened to me a few times, if I'm at a shop, more particularly when I'm at like Tobaccology, because I know so many people that are there.
Yeah.
If you reach over and you grab my cutter or my lighter, I don't care because I know you, I'm cool with you.
Right.
It is what it is. But I've been to shops where I'm sitting there and I have my stuff laying out like this, and somebody will just grab it and they'll use it, and I'm just like, it's cool, but at least ask. Not that I care.
It's like they're like licking the tip of their cigar and then cutting it all.
Yeah, like
gumming up your cutter and just...
and again, it's not that I care. I mean, if anybody needs a lighter or a cutter, I'll probably be one of the first ones to offer it to you.
No.
Yeah.
You can't touch my lighter. It's my special lighter.
Right. But I'm also never going to go up to somebody else and just be like...
Take their things.
It just doesn't feel right to me. And there was, I believe Joe Aceto brought this up in the group once, that he was at a cigar shop and these people just brought in a game console and hooked up to the TV.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Without even asking anyone?
Oh, yeah. They didn't ask anybody.
And
there's people sitting there
watching
TV, and these kids just come in, set up their fucking Xbox, and start playing Halo.
Yeah, just like, hey, man, mind if we play Halo? Didn't even ask. Jeez, dude.
Nothing.
I would almost be speechless. I'd just be like, these kids have balls.
Dude, all right, man, there's just so many pet peeves that I have because...
Let me tell you one of mine.
Yeah, please. I have such a big list. I'm just going to keep going forever.
Probably my number one biggest pet peeve is when you meet the Mr. Know-It-All guy.
Oh, yeah.
That is like the worst to me, when you just meet somebody who's just like, oh, did you know that like they're telling you about your cigar, and then they start telling you about his cigar, and or he'll tell you about, just whatever. You know what I mean? Like just and half the time what you're saying, it may not be necessarily incorrect, but it's like subjective information. Like it may just be stuff that, opinions that he has, but he's saying it as though they're fact.
Yeah.
And that to me just drives me crazy. Just like the snobby, arrogant, know-it-all guy. Like I can't take that. Like, look, you may be Mr. I only smoke the finest Cuban cigars from, the Cuban puros, whatever. But I'm like, look, man, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear, what kind of, 15 different fillers the cigar I'm smoking has, and I don't want to hear about the exact humidity of each region of the world that this came from, and blah blah blah. I don't care. I just like to smoke the cigar. I just like to enjoy myself and relax, and I can't relax with you telling me a bunch of horse shit. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So that's got to be like up there with me. And then the other one is like, because we're younger gentlemen, and we talked about this before, where you just have that guy who just like looks at you like you can't possibly know anything about cigars, or you can't enjoy cigars, or you're just there to steal something because you're young.
Yeah.
And he'll like hover over you while you're walking, going through the humidor, and just ask you 5 times if you need anything.
That's
And
honestly probably my biggest pet peeve.
that's a really big one for me too. It's like, come on, man. Like, I wouldn't be in here looking around in the humidor if I didn't know somewhat about what I was doing. I mean, you'll have your people who come in there and they'll just be like, hey, I'm here for a bachelor party. I need some cigars. I don't know what I'm doing.
Or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if if I've been in your shop a couple times now and you're still hovering around me, wondering what the hell I'm doing there, because I'm maybe 10, 20 years younger than the normal clientele, like, you're just doing yourself a disservice and your business a disservice, because you're making me feel unwanted, and I'm just going to turn around and go online and, shop there where I don't have to feel those judgmental shop owner eyes.
Yeah. I mean, and dude, that happens, and because more frequently we've been going to our local shop for various things. But, dude, my shop owner knows me. He knows me by name. He knows me. I even know his part-time help that only works 1 day a month. Like, we all know each other. He knows who I am. I've been going to that shop for like 10 years. And every time I walk into the humidor, and I'll close the door behind me, I will not get 4 steps before he's in. He's like, you need help with anything? Just like staring, like
doesn't almost
looking
like
around, like
almost in a tone that he doesn't recognize you.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, I'm in here all the time.
Right.
Like, I'm always in here, and you can't just be like, you still haven't even learned my name. Like, we work, with people on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. And when we see people more than once, we tend to start to learn their names and, like, build a relationship with them.
Right.
And some of these, places, it's just like, let me get you in and out as quickly as I possibly can so I can go back to smoking my cigar. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of what I feel.
Yeah.
And that's just, I don't know if that's if we're kind of swaying from the actual lounge etiquette, but I mean, it's part of going into a shop, and it's a business etiquette that just seems to be lost.
No, I agree.
Even we went to a shop recently when we did some traveling, and we walked in, and they had a really great selection. And this guy was kind of the opposite. Like, he was pretty nice and pretty cool, but then he just completely left us alone.
Right.
Which honestly is better.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather, if you're just gonna not deal with me, at least just let me be and shop, than as opposed to like hover over me.
Yeah,
and,
but they also right out the gate complimented me on my shirt I was wearing, which was a Caldwell Cigars t-shirt.
Sure.
So they probably figured I at least knew something about cigars.
Maybe,
and that's kind of where they left it, But I'm not confident that if I walked into my local shop, and I'm not trying to shit on my local shop at all, but if I walked in there in a Caldwell shirt, he probably has no idea what that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's pretty bothersome on its own. But if we're talking about somebody that is like in the lounge area with me, one of the things that I hate most is when somebody starts playing like Three Doors Down or Daughtry or some shit, and they have it up so loud you can't hear anybody talking. And they're the type of people that when their music is up, they just continuously talk over the music while it's still going full speed. Man.
And they play it just on their phone, like out of their crappy phone speaker.
They have like a fucking Note 4. and they have that shit cranked up all the way, and it sounds terrible. No, it's
so bad. Yeah, no, that's the worst. Is like, let me just pull out my phone and not like That's way worse than manspreading. Like, let me
100%.
Let me just completely hold your ears hostage with my crappy alternative music.
Yeah, right.
Like, I would much rather you dig your knee into my side with your manspread than have to listen to your crappy phone speaker play freaking Kryptonite by Three Doors Down.
God, dude.
Like, dude, the worst. I mean, it's just sometimes, you get these people who just, it's with a lot of things that, that people become enthusiasts about. They have too much time on their hands, or they have, like you said, people are just hanging out in the shop all day. They just feel like, this is my place now because I'm here all the time. They honestly get a little too comfortable, man. You get a little too comfortable, and then you start just doing stuff like you would do it if you were at home. And it just makes people feel weird when you're like, hey, I'm out here in public, like, trying to relax and enjoy myself, and you're just acting like you own the joint.
Yeah.
Not my thing, man. That's why it takes a lot for me to, go out into a shop. And, we were lucky enough when we were traveling, we went to Casa de Monte Cristo in D.C., and that was just the most fantastic lounge experience we ever had.
Yeah. Shelley's was really fucking fire.
Yeah, Shelley's was good, and I loved Shelley's back room, don't get me wrong. But the experience that I had at Casa for me was the customer service and the just the feeling of like camaraderie that we got from that.
I just like the fact that I could eat a steak.
Yeah. I mean, look, at Shelley's back room, you can order a steak, you can order, chicken wings and sit there and smoke your cigar. And there's something to be said for that that's truly amazing.
Yeah.
But as far as just a lounge, if we're just talking about, because not a lot of places have a Shelley's back room.
Yeah.
But some places may have, more in line with like Casa de Monte Cristo, where you can go in, you can purchase a cigar, you can sit down, you can smoke it, and you can get a drink. They didn't have food, they didn't have, anything like that, but they had, a bar, and they had, cigars that you could smoke. And the guys there were just so welcoming. I mean, this is our first time there.
Yeah.
And we walk in, and they're just completely, like, hey, how's it going? Like, they just seemed like they wanted to give us information, but it wasn't in a pretentious way. Like, there was a kid there that we met it was his first time smoking a cigar in a very long time. And they were like, they basically made him feel like, he was belonged there, and that he should come back. They helped him pick out a cigar. They helped him, cut it, light it, let him sit there, enjoy it, offered him a drink with it, that sort of thing. It was really cool to see because, I can remember my first shop experience being completely the opposite of something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
So for me, even though that wasn't my direct experience, seeing something like that was just way, way cool for me. Like, to see, like, man, they just, like, they basically, I was sitting there thinking, if I were in that kid's shoes, like, I'd absolutely want to come back here and smoke a cigar. And honestly, the experience we had, I wanted to come back and smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
The guys there, he let us sample some rums and some scotches and
expensive fucking rum, not some store-bought shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great experience.
So that for me is like how a lounge experience should be, man. I want to walk in and I want to feel some camaraderie. I want to feel like, I want, it's kind of like that old, like, Cheers. You want to go where somebody knows your name,
right?
You know what I mean? Like that type of cliche.
Well, I go where people know my name, but
yeah, they just don't really
remember
care.
It.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
And that, that's kind of the point, man. It's like you want people to be like, oh, hey, it's Joey. Like, let's hey, man, what are you smoking today? What are you?
Yeah, instead,
you want to feel the passion.
Hey, it's Joey. He's probably here to steal again.
Yeah.
As I always visit the register.
We've never stolen.
No, I mean, no, of course not. I mean, look, I would never do that. I mean,
and I'm sure there's some shitheads who have come along who ruined it.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure of that. But I mean, it's totally different, and maybe it's because Brett knows me, But when I go there, I can pop into the humidor, I can look around, I can probably spend 20 minutes in there, and Brett just knows I'm just trying to fucking make up my mind.
Yeah.
and it is what it is, you know, and that's what I like about that, because, you know, and I've been in the shop when new people come in, and the way Brett handles them is, you know, have you ever smoked before? You know, what do you know, ask questions to figure out recommendations that he can make, you know. But I'll come in smoking a cigar, 3 cigars in my pocket, wearing, you know, a fucking whatever cigar branded t-shirt. They'll be like, well, why don't you let me tell you what you should smoke? You know, and it's just slightly annoying to me.
Which again is cool if you're like coming from a sincere place.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to share with someone, like, you know, if you walk in and they're like, hey man, have you tried this? Like, we love these, you know, then you're like, oh man, yeah, I haven't tried that. Like, let me try that, you know?
Yeah.
Like if they're trying to, you know, but if it's like, you know, if it's more of like a pretentious, like, oh, you know, you smoke those. Well, why don't you smoke this?
Yeah.
Because it's just, you know, just be better.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's just what I wanted to say. Like sometimes I just walk out of the shops and I just want to be like, just be better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I mean, we have
high standards.
Maybe it's our area, because we went, you know, even a little further south and didn't have that great of an experience.
Yeah,
either.
we're really lacking in our area.
Yeah, maybe
it's unfortunate.
We could chalk it up to, you know, maybe it's just our area.
Except for Brett, but he's a little tobaccology.
Well, that's almost 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're talking super local. I'm talking within like a 30-minute drive from us.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, we have to go, which I've never even visited any Charlottesville shops, but I always hear great things about Charlottesville. But I've been to Cigar Realm in Richmond, which is a great cigar shop. Mm-hmm. And then other than that, on the other end of the spectrum is Tobaccology, and even a little further north, some of the places in D.C.
Yeah.
You know, but in our area, we really, really lack a good
bummer.
Local tobacconist.
It's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
Yep. So with that being said, man, just
Manspread, let it hang out.
Do better.
Do better.
Do better. Well, anyway, guys, I think that's probably going to bring us close to the end of our first show.
Yeah.
I think we did a good job of not rambling too much. We stayed mostly on topic, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Yeah, we did all right.
Except for the time your wife walked in, but you know.
Well, jeez, women.
You expect that the first podcast episode.
If it wouldn't be us if we didn't have a little hiccup or two.
That is true.
So what do you want to finish with, man? You want to tell them anything else? You want to give them some? I mean, what would you?
Well, I mean, it went out on me. It's went out a couple times, but that's what comes to no fault of the cigar, just because we're sitting here talking.
Yeah.
But the draw has been perfect throughout. Construction is great. It burns great. You know, I mean, I would definitely say that this is probably, between this and the Miami, probably my 2 favorite Herrera Estelis. Mm-hmm. And then the Norteño by Willie are probably my 3 favorite things that Willie's had his hands directly involved in. But I mean, this cigar is very good. You know, you got your dried fruit, your coffee, you know, a little chocolate, cedar. It's just a good fucking cigar. I mean, definitely check it out. I'm definitely gonna have to get more.
Yeah, I would say the same for my Norteño here. It's just a fantastic construction. Mine also went out because I had to go speak with my wife when she came home. Yeah. But yeah, I get like a nice, like a nutty and a raisin almost taste out of it. Slight pepper, which is nice. I always like a mild pepper.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, can't recommend Norteño enough. I've had that cigar too. Love Willie Herrera's cigars. Glad you guys could stick around. Hopefully you stayed till the end and smoked one with us.
Yeah. Hopefully tune in for our next episode, which will not feature Logan's wife.
So yeah, guys, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Team Kick Ash.
Team Kick Ash.
You can follow us or find us in the group on Facebook, Cigar Society.
Correct.
And you can find us on our YouTube channel, where we'll be posting our podcast videos and other review videos and other just miscellaneous fun videos. Mm-hmm. And our YouTube is also Kickin Ash, rather. So with that being said, guys, thanks for smoking with us. And
Also follow I Am Cigar Society on Instagram.
yes, follow.
That's a cheeky plug, but
Follow Joey on I Am Cigar Society.
But it does correlate to Team Kickin Ash because I do share a lot of the content from the Kickin Ash page on my actual Instagram, which is Cigar Society or I Am Cigar Society. You can find that, and I share with that as well.
Absolutely. So with that being said, guys, as always, have a kick-ass day.
We nailed that one pretty good.
All right, guys. So you may notice that the video cuts out a little early, and that is just because for some reason our camera stopped recording. We're still figuring this thing out. It's not going to be perfect right away, but we got most of it. Yes, my wife came in the middle of the podcast, so that made for some weird editing stuff too. But we appreciate you putting up with that for the first episode. You'll hear a little bit of the audio, the audio till the end, but you may not see just the last bit of video. Again, not really sure why that happened, but thanks for rocking with us still. And as always, have a kick-ass day.